Notice we're both wearing black.
Guys, it's all right though. It's all right though. It's all right though. It's all right.
Sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain. Joy wouldn't
That
feel
part.
so good if it wasn't
Yeah.
for pain. 50.
Oh my God. Welcome to the Snobby Boys. Well, I guess we're not on Rumble tonight because I don't know why. I did all the things and it didn't do the thing. So we're still on X and we're still on YouTube.
Well-
so that's all right. Welcome to the Snobby Boys. I'm your host, Colby. It's my homeboy, Joe. City and stuff and things. You can see our excitement, right?
We're so happy.
We're so happy. Dude, it was a tough weekend. We'll get into it. God bless it. Before we do, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bells. Make sure you're following us on social media at SnobbyPod. Also, go check out the store.
It's above me.
It's above him. Hit the QR code. Check out what's going on in there. Might throw something in there. Might shut down the store altogether. I don't know. Sales have not been so great. So you ain't gonna buy, we ain't gonna offer, right?
Exactly.
I'm kidding. Yosef, what are we doing tonight? What are we talking about?
Tonight, we are mercilessly into our international break as of right now, which is great. So we will be reviewing yesterday's Brighton matchup and then talking a little bit about what's going on in the world of City, as well as the podcast and City fandom community. A lot of negativity flowing around.
So much goddamn negativity.
I don't need it, okay? I'm not DMing it. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, vent a little bit on how we're feeling, and then we will wrap up tonight's episode with some throat talk. See where we go with that. Hopefully, more engagement from our comments this time. Last time, not so much. And again, that's okay. That happens. Tonight, hopefully, we have a little more banter back and forth with you all to fill up some space. Because
we got Steven Smith is in the house this evening with us.
Evie.
Thanks for showing up.
What up? AKA Rip. Hell yeah.
He just called me Rip.
That makes sure I can see a smile just beaming on your face right now from that.
Yeah, dude. So, tonight's the night. Finally. Well done, send the Fairweather fans to the train station. Steve. That's right. That is right. We will definitely be harping on that point tonight.
Faux show. So,
bro,
let's start with Brighton. It started off well. Actually took a lead. We didn't concede early. And through the first half, honestly, looked pretty damn good in my opinion. And then in a very short period of time, late in the second half, unfortunately, all the things seemed to unravel on us. And everything kind of collapsed there, giving up 2 late goals. And we're not able to equalize. So we ended up with another loss. 4 losses on the turn, 4 losses in 10 days, all away losses. Let's keep that in mind. So just really unfortunate because I feel like they played well, but in the second half for me, there's a couple of individuals that we'll talk about in a bit that I felt like really, for whatever reason, I'm sure there's plenty we'll talk about, didn't have the strongest of matches. And I think we're at fault for both, unfortunately, of those goals. But man, that's a tough stretch. We've been talking about this all for the past 3 shows. I think at the end of the match, the 4 away games, very little time to rest, to recover, to train. Um, all the injuries, the lack of being able to fully like rotate that squad, it really, I think, caught up to us at the end of the Brighton match. You could just see the guys' legs just were not there anymore. Body language was not great from the lads. Um, so it was just a culmination of the past 10 days, really. I think caught up to us, and we weren't able to see that one out. Unfortunately, that's the first time in a long time we've lost a lead in the while leading at halftime. So it was just, yep, you are absolutely correct. It is not in the right place with my microphone. So take over. Tell me how you felt about the match. General feelings, overall feelings. Like it.
I mean, you know, it's really tough to put into words. Seeing us slide to 4, like you said, we called it for over the last couple of weeks. This was not going to be a good run of matches. Um, you know, we've got to, at this point as a fan base, we've got to learn to take our L's on the chin and move forward every match and not beat on the fucking drum of negativity incessantly. I understand this club means a lot to people. I mean, it means just that much to us. There's injuries, abundant. We have a full 11, if not more, at this point, of uh, injuries. It's hard to be at our best when we have nothing, no supporting cast behind us. We are literally at empty in the gas tank. Steve Black says injuries, inexperience, tiredness, and poor communication focus, but it'll be okay in time. And that's exactly it. It'll be okay in time. This break couldn't honestly come at a better time. I think both of us, we've echoed this to each other. We'll put it out there to the world. Like, we really hope that some of these guys decide to say to their national team management, like, hey, listen, a lot of football's been played. I really don't think that I'm going to be good enough for you to even be in the squad. So just let me fucking sit back. That way I can actually be of service to my club, because by doing this, I'm not of any service to my club. I'm only going to potentially put myself at risk for injury. You know what I mean? There's quite a few of them that are going up. Kyle Walker's the only one out of defense. And Rico. Phil's going up. No Jack.
Both of whom need a break.
Everyone needs a break.
Jack's going, and apparently
Jack is going now.
Jack's going. Pep is none too pleased about it with the manager, and it seems like he's a little disappointed in Jack for saying he wanted to go, because apparently in the presser, I guess yesterday, Jack had said he wanted to go up instead of stay, and Pep didn't seem thrilled with that. And Lee Carsley obviously called him up, even though hadn't really been on the training pitch for more than like 20 minutes, according to Pep, in the past 17 days. So how much he plays remains to be seen. So it's just, I just hope that they are not playing very much, especially Rico, who really, I think, could have used 2 weeks of not playing at this point in time, considering how much he's played already and how much it seemed like his overall level of play has dropped because he's been playing so freaking much.
So yeah, he's had to bear the weight of a lot of this. He's been literally nonstop since preseason. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
For me, it's tough. What you expect at this point when your back line is Kyle, Simpson Pusey, 19-year-old, hardly played any first team matches. Yoshko, who hasn't played center back much, he's been playing left back almost exclusively. And then Rico on the left, who frequently was tucking in to be another number 8 almost most of the game. So it was almost like a back 3 of Yoshko, Simpson Pusey, and Kyle. Put that on your bingo card or raise your hand if you had that on your bingo card as a winning starting back three. And Kyle, who is still not yet ready to fully play, but is gutting it out because we really have nobody else at this point in time. You know what I mean? So as soon as I saw that back line, I was like, okay, if we can squeak out like a 1-0 thing, awesome, but I just don't see that happening. And the crazy thing to me was Simpson Pusey was the center of the back three. I'm going to need you to get it together every time I say
I can't. I can't. I can't.
I'm going to go back to JSP.
There you go. That works so much better.
JSP was
I think
in
you
that.
Just like saying it.
Simpson Pusey.
I really do. I think you just like saying it.
But having him in the middle of the three, that's the leadership role. That's the communicator's role. That's a lot to put on a 19-year-old. And I think he honestly acquitted himself nicely. I don't think he was at fault for either of the goals. There was other guys that were. And Rico, I think for me, both goals, not squarely. First one, Nunez and Yoshko were both in that space and didn't really help. Not very aggressive going to it, to the ball and letting it get squeaked out behind him and letting Joao Pedro come in and bury it. But the second one, Rico just lost his mark, let him get goal side and down 2-1. So it's and then it's just with that back line, I don't know what anyone else expected. That's not a great time back there with that grouping. If you think about it,
I'm sorry, I can't.
Steve,
it's the word. It's the words put together.
It's the way the words come together. Pusey had no hairy moments and did well.
He had 0 hairy moments.
No hairy moments.
Top comment right there.
Star that bad boy for future reference.
Right.
Oh my God.
Bingo.
So, and I get giving Bernardo a breather. If you look at the 11, half of them are guys that are not starters for us. One of which is a guy who's coming up from the EDS to cover for the lack of any healthy center backs at this point. So if you look at the whole squad, if you look at if everybody's fit, healthy, ready to go, Holland, Foden, that's 2. And then Savinho, probably that's 3. Ederson, 4. And then 1 of Rico or Kyle and Yoshko. Those are the only guys that you would say are normal starting 11 players. The rest of them should not be starters if everybody's fit and healthy, in my opinion. Including everybody that's out.
Don't you discount Matheus Nunes right now, because he has been well on the last 4 games, regardless of the results.
Oh no, this is not discrediting him, but I'm just saying if everybody's healthy,
he has worked himself in.
You know what I mean?
No, you're right, but I mean, at this point, I kind of feel like with what he's produced over at least the last 6, he honestly deserves more thought in the rotation than any of the players that are on right now when we're fully fit. Yeah.
He's worked himself into that category, but
he's
so yeah. It's just that's a shitty time. Lots of injuries. Steven, what are we gonna do with you tonight, my guy?
Oh, it's too bad those people who listen on Spotify and Apple, you are not seeing what's happening right now.
So if you're listening, go switch to YouTube or X or the next day and make sure you can read the comments that are coming through on the screen, because they are top notch tonight.
Stephen Black's on a heater.
He is on a So it was somebody else who we've talked a lot about that I don't think had a love, like just seemed kind of non-existent. He didn't really do much, anything bad, but didn't do anything good either. Gundo just seemed like a ghost out there. I feel like he never really got on the ball, did much. I don't think he did anything like negative, really, that was bad. But I just don't remember him making any plays, anything positive or negative. You know what I mean?
Contribution.
Yeah, just no contributions out there. So Kova, I thought, did well, and people were posting about his stat line about successful carries, dribbles, passing accuracy, those kind of things. I'm like, that's perfect. That's a wonderful line for a number 8. Like Colby has been mentioning on our show a few times that he would look really good in that spot, but right now he's sitting in that 6. And dude, Savino numerous opportunities and just hasn't been able to find his shooting boots yet. Nope. Everything else really, really solid. He's doing a great job getting to the end line, byline, whatever you want to call it, and putting crosses in. But when he has opportunities to shoot, it's just, I think it's between the ears. He's pressing, really wants to get that goal for us, and oh Lord have mercy. It is those deep balls that do us in defense, but Busey handled them well. Busey did a great job handling those deep balls, penetrating through balls. We needed this after 2 weeks of disappointing results.
Oh God,
disappointing results, but that's the thing, man. Like this is the first time Pep has never lost 4 in a row before. Okay, never lost 4 in a row. This is an uncommon scenario. This is not something that we go through very often.
Preach,
Timu, Gundo. That's because he's being asked to do more than we needed from him, because he wasn't anticipating needing to play this many heavy minutes this early in his.
No, he was supposed to be a spot player. That's about it.
Sav is definitely getting. You can see it for sure. It's affecting his game because he wants to contribute so much that he's pressing at times, and you can see with his shots, they're always got a little bit too much mustard on them. Going too wide, sailing over with a little bit too much on it, and he's got to just chill a little bit.
Calm his tits. He needs to calm his tits.
There you go.
Like everybody else in the fan base, just calm your fucking tits, man.
Facts. So,
yeah, frustrating results. Man. Yeah, frustrating results. There's nothing we can do about it. We got to move on. We're going to get into this when we get into the city and community news part, but like, faithful got to be faithful. I have more faith in my nuts than most of these people do about this team, and it's kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You just, it's a 38 game season. there's competitions.
We're 11 in.
We're also talking about international duty, and we're 11 matches in. Yeah,
you said duty.
I did. I say yep. Dude,
I'm a child. I'm sorry,
Steve. Keep it coming, bro. Literally. Hey.
Yeah. Oh my God. Both Steven and Steve. Both of y'all. Let it ride, baby. We're here for it.
Set pieces. We're terrible on those. I've been talking about that for fucking weeks.
That's what's wild, dude. You heard it on the broadcast. We've scored 4 set piece goals this season, which is like tops in the Premier League, and we still look shitty on them.
Like shit.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, thank God for John Stones, who was more responsible for half of those, and late matches too, and important times.
Right.
The whole fan meltdown. If you're that's what you're talking about, Steve.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. It's. All I can hear in my head right now is the scene from I Love You, Man, when they're sitting in the office and he sends them the video of the grandma on the Sibian machine.
Yes. Being played entirely too loud.
She's a squirter! She's a squirter! Oh my god. Yeah.
This is why we're marked with an E next to our names on the podcast locations.
Right.
Go and listen to us. This
we are
right
not
here.
your average city podcast.
And can we take a second to just rag a little bit on those punk ass rags who, because they got a 3-0 win, I guess, this weekend, thought it was proper protocol to try and point funny. Oh my Jesus Christ. Yes.
Hold on. Steve, you deserve all of these.
Hit him.
All right. Yeah. Well, go rags, because we still have
their fans. Their fans. Their little podcast folks, like smiling and grinning about Manchester City's current run of form, like their punk ass squad isn't sitting 13th still.
Right. You were near the end of the table a couple of matches ago. You better fucking stop talking up. That's all I'm saying.
They won 3-0, and before that game they were 13th. And guess what? You're still 13th.
Who they built 3-0?
Leicester City.
Leicester.
And you're still in 13th place, and you're got a congratulations. One thing you may pat yourself on the back for, you're no longer in the negative goal differential.
Right?
Congratulations. How like daft can you be as a fan base to like talk shit about a team that's currently in second and you're in fucking 13th?
You know all I hear right now?
Oh my god. I think Saeed TV was posting stuff and their fans were taking the piss out. I'm like, do you really think that bothers us anymore when you're 11 spots below us?
I wonder what Gold Dick was on about. Fucking Mr. Smelt himself.
Big facts.
What a knob job. Anyways, bro, I gotta post. I gotta put that one up. I'm sorry for those who aren't watching. You've got to go check out that. That's really what they are. They're also. I've said this 100 times. They're like Cowboys fans. They're the fucking worst. Steve knows that. Steven knows that very well. He also knows this very well. Yeah. That was
had to be
come
done
up tonight at some point.
I would be disappointed in you if it didn't.
They don't have full dick.
Man, if we had
there's so many jokes.
If we had dick off top and Pusey taking care of the backside, man.
You can't put a fucking playground next to a sewer.
Makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. But I also like the Ninja Turtles, and I played in the sewer, so.
Goddamn right, Ninja Turtles.
Oh my god. I don't really know what else to say about this particular
Holland got
match.
back on the score sheet, which was great. But
congratulations, bud. Oh, that's right. And he did beat Alan Shearer's record in like 16 fewer games or some shit like that. Kudos. Awesome. It's still hard to be upbeat, but then also like not care at the same. I do care, but all at the same, like I knew this was going to happen. So it's very hard to sit here and just pick at it and dissect it. Like it just is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's why we're not diving too deep into the match today
No,
and
dude,
tonight,
it's
because we all know where this is at, where we're at. The break is coming right when we need it most at this point for our guys to get healthy, and hopefully the ones that are going away come back healthy. That's the biggest thing at this point. But it's only the majority of us, I think, are getting a break mentally, physically, all of that. I just that piece is, and we'll talk a little bit more about this on our next segment. But maybe in the next week or two, we get a little bit of positive news coming our way out of the managerial side. So with what he's going to be doing, that very much felt like either Austin Powers reference or like James Bond situation with what Steve just said.
Money penny.
So, but it's just physically, mentally, all of those things. The guys need time off and to rest. And I don't think everybody assumes that these players, because they play FIFA, yes, resign, please. Because they play FIFA and they see them on TV, that they're not human beings. They think that they're robots or NPCs, and that they can just turn it on, turn it off whenever they want, and have endless amount of stamina and energy, and like traveling as much as they have.
Push it.
Oh, rough. Just the way your mother likes it, Trump.
Trebek.
Moo. We are.
I love Norm Macdonald's characters on that
Dude.
one. Too.
Funny hat.
Yeah,
hey,
funny hat.
Funny. Big hat. It's funny.
Yeah. I'll take 8 tip for 200. That's bon appetit.
Petite. We are here for that energy,
dude. We are so here for it, dude. So here for it.
The amount of travel that they have had to do, and Brighton again, same thing we talked about.
We're not going to be able to finish this show if we keep going on.
I'm here. I'm okay with it. James Bondage.
I can't even think. Right. I just have dirty jokes running through my head right now.
Did Brighton play this midweek? No. Were they home the entire week? Yes. So they had plenty of time to rest, recover, and train and prepare for Manchester City. Manchester City was in fucking Portugal on Tuesday night, traveling with all these injuries, came back, had some time to recover, maybe get a light hour session in with the boys, and then had to turn around and travel back down south to Brighton. I hate to beat a dead horse with that, but this whole schedule situation that we've been handed this past 10 days is absolutely ridiculous.
Did you see the start of December?
I haven't even looked ahead, to be honest with you. What's it looking like now?
It's literally Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, I think. Or it's Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday. One of the two. Yeah, it's fun.
Fuckers, man.
It's fun.
But the health of the players are important for the people who are running the show. Player health and safety is very important.
These are all Premier League matches, by the way. Right?
God damn it.
They don't care. They don't give a shit. It's a lot like the soccer model over here. They don't really give a shit.
Nope.
They just do things that don't really make any actual sense. Yeah, Liverpool is actually what starts off that 3-game stretch, Steve.
Yep, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace.
Back to back within 7 days.
With Tottenham again. And a Champions League match too. Coming out burning.
Oh, we know it's all about the money. We know that. It's not about skill anymore. It's not about merit. It's not about the things that any game should be about. It's really about the Benjamin or the Queen Elizabeth or whatever the fuck is on there. Faranoid, yeah, that's also on there.
Yep. It doesn't get much easier, does it?
It doesn't. Just hope it's not going to get easier.
The only thing that is going to fix this is some health at this point from our boys.
Listen, winter break's right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's right around the corner. If we can just get through this, January we end up turning up anyways. Our time to shine has always been and will continue to be for as long as we're in this model. After the new year starts, for us, we have the luxury. I mean, this season is a little bit different. We have the luxury of being able to tinker from September to December, and then getting it right from January until April, May. So, reason we're even able to have so much fun. Like I've seen a bunch of the different podcasters having fucking meltdowns and fucking just ripping into it. Like, dude, it's not that deep right now. We have literally so much football to go. There is a lot of time to fix things. People will come back healthy. I mean, shit, Kev's coming back healthy. We've been waiting on that since fucking September. So, I mean, let's, be thankful for what's going forward and not look at what's happening, because it's only going to get better for all of those players. I mean, all but like one of them dying. Like, God, let's hope that doesn't happen. I should probably say unaliving. I might get canceled, right? That's the protocol now on the internet, isn't it?
Blah. And it's not even like it's minor injuries or injuries to guys who are fringe players. It's fucking our leaders. Ruben's out, leader. Rodri out, leader. Kevin out, leader. Like,
you don't.
We do not need a dying pussy.
No dusty wind tunnels, please.
None. So it'll get better. Injuries are not permanent aside from Rodri for the season. The guys will come back. Pep will get them together, get the ship righted. The world is not ending. The sky is not falling. We have tons of Premier League matches to go. We have 4 more group stage matches in the Champions League. And guess what, folks? We are not that far out of any of these things. Talk is Ederson. That's their defensive midfielder that they have. They're at Atalanta. Name being floated around as a potential incoming in January. So we shall see what happens. It seems like, if you believe the talk, is we might be loosening our stance on January transfer spending and might actually go out and get some reinforcement potentially. So we'll see what happens. You might be the best straight gunner for keeping the. Hey man, I am trying my best. It's a balance, we got to get a little bit of normal talk, but we like to go off the rails from time to time. It's all good. There's room for that here.
Yep.
We all needed laughs at this point.
There are crazy trains to be had.
This is true. This is very true. A well-lubricated pussy is ready for anything. Steve, you're just dropping knowledge right tonight, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Right. I wish they would admit it, though.
Ain't that the truth?
I'm not a literal Larry.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep. Crazy train. Going off them rails. We can. And we do. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
All right. Yeah. This Twisted Tea is doing me right now.
We were that's your cup from from Chapel Hill, right?
Sure is.
We hadn't unpacked. We kept all of our cups that we got from the city shop there from Chapel Hill and the one at the game in the same clear bag that we had at the game to keep it safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we just pulled them out today because Steph brought that one to the game. So it was funny that you're sipping from that tonight because I was just looking at our cup today.
Look who the fuck decided to show back up. Hello.
Hey!
Hello, Stat. Mr. Chaddington.
How the Jets do?
Let's not talk about it for his sake.
Did Devontae Adams at least do something so I got some help with my fantasy squad?
Oh my god, you fantasy fuckers.
January, February on that question. Oscar Bob being back by February for sure. There's talk that he's ahead of the schedule and might be ready earlier in January. But I hope that for his sake, barring health of everybody else, that they give him as much time as he needs and are not trying to rush him back in any shape or form. Because from summer, he was our most impactful attacking player. And then early on in the first couple of matches before he got hurt, he was an absolute menace for other teams to deal with. So please take your time. I love seeing the pictures of him smiling and doing press for the team and traveling to Abu Dhabi to do those things. But we don't need to get him out on the pitch any earlier than is needed at this point. So take your time.
Especially
let's aim for February. Yes, let's aim for February for the stretch run. Yeah. Is my hope. But the initial timeline.
Let's be lucky that we're getting him back at all.
Yes, because it could have been much, much worse.
Yeah. This could have been a season ender for him. So, like, yeah, let him take his time because his services are needed. And for his future, let's not have it happen again. Because now he's already, it's one of those things where once you've done it, it'll happen again kind of things. And it'll happen a little easier the next time. So I don't want that to happen to him. I don't want to rush him back. I don't want to put any unnecessary weight on him to pull this team out of any positions. I don't think that's fair. But I can't wait to see him back because that motherfucker.
Talented young man.
Yes, he is.
We could definitely use him.
Yes, we could. All right, listen. Just really not that much to talk about when it comes to Brighton. We're just going to fucking talk in circles. So we're going to get a break for our little 30 seconds. And then we'll come back, talk about city and community news. And we'll bro talk it out. We're going to talk a little bit about the U.S. model. Not very happy with it. There's some things that I want to address, both as a parent and somebody who is a student of the game and somebody who thinks that the game should be played a specific way. So we'll get into that here in a bit.
All Manchester City fans are glory hunting plastics. Every single one of them claims to have supported them since the 70s, even though they were only born in the 90s. But I'm willing to give Manchester City Plastics an opportunity to prove me wrong.
You muted.
Oh, I did it again. All right, welcome back. City and community news. Before we do, make sure that everybody hit that like button. Really would love to see some more likes. We got 22. Well, there's technically 5 people in the YouTube, but I would love to see some of these 17 X watchers jump over on the YouTube, or even like the episode here on X or there on X. Yeah, that'd be great. City and community news. Uh, I need to correct an error I made in talking about Champions League last week, because I am a person of holding oneself accountable for their mistakes, as one should. I did say last week, or excuse me, last episode. I keep saying last week. Last episode that we had only dropped down to 6th. That is in fact incorrect. We actually dropped down to 12th at the time that I had seen 10th. Excuse me. At the time that I had seen that right before we went on, we were at that point in 6th place from 3rd, and we actually had moved down. So it's really, regardless, it's not a big deal. That match still really doesn't it's not going to hurt us moving on. We've got to do our job moving forward. But fortunately, we won't see any Premier League action until after the break. So got plenty of time to correct course in that competition. So
we're 2 points out of the top 8.
Yeah.
With 4 games to go. A win puts us even with all the teams that are currently tied in 2nd with 10. Liverpool's up top with an undefeated record with 12 points. So much to go. We have Feyenoord, we have Juventus, PSG, and then Club Brugge afterwards. So we got winnable matches, plenty of points to play for. And as long as we get in the top 8, that's what matters. And if we don't, then the only thing that changes there is we have to go through the knockout phase. We do like a home and away with one other team, and if we beat them, we move in. So we're not out of the competition, even if we don't finish in the top 8, which I still expect us to do. But if we don't, not the end of the world either. At this point,
we could be in the last tier of teams.
Yes, the elimination
we don't
places.
even really have a fucking chance.
One of the teams on our schedule is sitting right there too. One team that you wouldn't, or a team that would not have expected to be there. And PSG is currently sitting in 25th in the first elimination spot. So, it could be that bad. We could be in that kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some really good teams in the Champions League. Bayern, 17th. Real Madrid having a tough go of it, the best team in all of the Champions League history. Another L. They're sitting in 18th. AC Milan, 20th. Atletico Madrid, 23rd. So everybody's taking some time to get adjusted to the new competition, the new format. Teams that you don't, Monaco and Brest are sitting in the 3rd and 4th spot. I don't anticipate those 2 teams still being in that location by the end of this, but stranger things have happened.
It's been pretty good this season. I don't know.
So
we'll see where they end up. There's not that much to worry about. There's just not that much to worry about.
That's the whole
right now.
That's the theme.
Our focus right now needs to be about league play. We don't have any competitions on our way out. Just focus on what's ahead of you. Let's not jump to conclusions and build bridges that aren't needing built. Yeah, they really are.
Whoop.
That was a double click.
Beautiful sight to see sometimes. What can you say?
Isn't it? Which ones do you like? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna reserve that question for a private conversation. I feel that might get people in trouble. I feel like that might get people in trouble. Right. So let's get into this meltdown that the community has been having. We've been dabbling in it through the Brighton review. I'm going to go back to something I've said before. I am very firm in the fact that I believe that it's, in part the season, but in part the fact that uh, there's a lack of sunlight. Regardless, the vitamin D is not abundant there. I just find it ridiculous the amount of demon trolls that there really are throughout the community that at first chance they get their fat fucking fingertips to scroll over, to swipe over them fucking keys and put whatever ridiculous thought they threw into their head out of emotion. That's ridiculous, guys. It's becoming, from looking at it so often, it looks like a bunch of children bitching about not having one glue and having the other. Like, when they started giving us the glue sticks and not the actual bottles of glue where you could pour on your fingers and peel it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what we're bitching about.
Or not having Elmer's glue, but we have the
Right.
the great value glue instead of the Elmer's glue.
Right. Does the same job, But no, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? The fact that a couple of Americans are sitting here unfazed, not freaking the fuck out over it, not making a big deal about it, like that should say something. And it might say something else to somebody who wants to be smug and say, "Oh, well, you're not a part of it." Blah blah blah. You can go on that fucking bullshit rhetoric all you fucking want. I think it's funny when people try to minimize one's fandom based on location. That's hilarious.
And that's a global issue. There are people that do that over here with American football, NBA, all those kind of things. They try to gatekeep who's allowed to support a club.
It's a smaller scale, I feel like, all over here, though. I feel like it's a lot more welcoming in our sports. I have not to say that there isn't the few on there that are just complete asswads and use being behind a screen an excuse to be one.
In my experience in Facebook sports groups, where I've met some of my best friends, when people post about teams that they particularly care about, the first question a lot of people ask is, "Where are you from?"
Right.
To find out if you're in a certain geographical area of the team that you allegedly that you support, to see if it's okay. So it's like, you don't get to dictate who I support, which team I'm a part of. Okay. And you don't also get to tell me that I don't understand anything about being a fan of said club. You don't know what it means to me. You've never had a conversation with me. My kids love watching Man City games with me. When we win, when we lose, they get every bit upset as I do. This is not just like a passing fancy for us. This club is a part of our everyday life now, even though we're 3,000 miles away. So anytime anybody gets uppity about anybody and who they support, it's none of your business. They chose it. If they chose it, cool, good for them.
Domestically, that can work great for banter. I see it from that perspective. But to use it on somebody who had no control over not being born there, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, 100%. Because
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we don't have the same level of football that y'all have. I would rather watch good people, so I know what good looks like, than to watch the garbage over here, which will tie into what we're about to talk about here in a bit. Like, you really want me to sit here and pander to the bullshit that happens here in America in regards to this game? I don't think so.
Some folks would rather just keep it to themselves instead of sharing the beautiful game. So they would rather just keep their team, their club, to their small group of people. But instead of being like, hey, you know what? There's people across the country that want to be a part of across the fucking ocean, or globe, other places that want to learn more about the club, the team, the sport, that's a good thing. So instead of keeping it to yourself, throwing crap at people, welcome them in, teach them about it. And if in that process you learn that those individuals aren't in it for the right reasons, then that's a different story. You can talk about that if you want. But for folks who are generally wanting to learn more and get engaged with the Premier League because they didn't know about it for a long time and it wasn't available here. Yeah, it just wasn't available. We didn't have any choice. So it's like, and MLS over here wasn't televised like it is now. So there really wasn't any footy on the telly for us.
It's still not even really televised. It's really not a televised.
So,
you have to pay for a pass just to watch, which goes into Lionel Messi's pocket.
The happy clappers thing is, I would probably be
you are
lumped into that group.
You're happy clapper. No, I think that whole terminology is ridiculous, and I have seen it with a lot of us that are over the 30 mark, which is the vast majority of us that actually have a podcast. I think it's so funny, these little fucking twats that are under 30 like just try to talk up at us. Like, bro, you can't even pay your fucking cell phone bill. Chill out. Like, yeah, we see that a lot, especially the happy clapper. I mean, we've seen Martin thrown into that loop. We've seen Tone thrown into that loop. I've seen Jordan MCFC Daps thrown into that loop. I've heard Big Steve thrown into that loop. Like, that's the last happy clapper I would put out there. Like, he just tells it the way that it fucking is. Like,
and if that group wants to be, if that's the group that's happy clappers, sign me up for that group.
So I
want to be a part of that too. I want to be with them. I want to be with those guys. So lump me in with them because they're the true blues, along with Steve and Steven. They get it.
They get it. Who else are our true blues in here? If you're an actual blue, why don't you comment a blue heart or a blue shirt and let us know that you're actually here rather than just sitting there being a spectator. Spectators are great and all, but like doers.
You see the fun engagement that we're getting with the Steves.
Doers are better than watchers.
Doers.
So
yeah, it just makes you not want to be on the socials much.
And we really haven't, to be fair.
Because I'm really tired. I'm not gonna sit here and scroll looking for like actual decent content when my entire feed is just full of people
ripping moron, Pep, demon troll,
ripping the players,
moaning
and groaning about the club not buying people and just everything's wrong. Like, I'm not, for my mental health, like I'm not gonna sit here and read that bullshit. I'm just not. And Colby's not either. So we're just gonna remove ourselves from that situation because it's just a negative atmosphere.
So many people on the internet that could be given perfect and would find something wrong with it. I mean, true.
You're not wrong. So it's just the amount of, and I get it where we've lost 4 matches in a row, but again, this is not the normal for our club. This is not the new normal. This is not what it's going to be looking like.
It's ridiculous, and when this is something that is, I'm gonna post that back up again. It's ridiculous, Steve, and to everybody listening, like we saw. I think it was last episode I had talked about it with Blue Tone. The people who are calling, especially us podcasters, divisive. No, we're not. You're being divisive.
Y'all are.
You're literally calling you're the kettle calling the pot black. Like, you're the one being divisive. It's the same type of rhetoric that a lot of these L people, I'll just say that so we don't get in trouble. A lot of these L people, they're the ones that are pointing the fingers are the ones that are guilty. It's just as simple as that. And it's honestly, if you want to get down to some knowledge, that's Marxist behavior. And it's also gaslighting.
Colby's being like grown up about it. I'm going to say whoever smelt it dealt it, and that's exactly what's going on.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And then same thing with denying and supplying. Like
the things you learn as a child are true, bro.
But if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, and acts like a duck, guess what? It's fucking duck. Like,
nah, dude, it's an alligator, bro. What are you talking about?
No, it's an alligator. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna gaslight you right now.
It's a platypus.
Actually, it's not a duck. It's a specific offshoot of a mallard. So you got to get it right, my guy. Yeah,
Go ahead. But you've been in it longer. Like for me, it doesn't always look like that. Hold on. Liar, outtake. A goose. Please tell me you know what that is. Please tell me you remember that outtake.
Steven.
Yep, yes.
I just did that in my head. I was like, yep, he's right. Bang on. To echo what Steve was saying with City fans are in segments, which has never been the case. City were in mostly a family knit club. We can see that on this side of the pond as well with our experiences with the OSCs on this side of the pond. When I first started up with them in 2014, 2015, it was a far different grouping of people that came to watch the City matches at the local watering hole where everybody gathered to watch. The vibes, the people, really awesome. I felt welcomed. We all were having drinks together, cheering on City. Everybody was chanting and enjoying, having a great time. Very welcoming and engaging with everyone. And in the past couple of years, and honestly, it feels like that's the case across the board, and not just the one in DC. But when you see all the pictures being posted from the different OSCs across the board, there's not a lot of individuals together. Because it really feels like what you're saying. It's segmented. Like people are like, I got my clique. It feels like high school again, honestly. I got my clique of a couple of people that I want to talk to, and it's my thing, and not this is our club. This is welcoming everybody from this city, town, whatever, to come and watch City together as a unit. I got my select group of people that I want to watch City games with, but I'm going to make myself an OSC so we get perks, but really not encourage and welcome other people to come join us now. It's completely shifted to that kind of mentality, and it's really frustrating.
I'll say that for probably the bigger markets. I don't know about the smaller markets. You know what I mean? Steve he's actually the secretary, Steven, excuse me, not to get them confused. Steven is the secretary of the Greenville chapter. Being that they're a small chapter, I feel like it probably is a lot more of that family-esque feel when you go and hang out. But when you start going to the bigger markets like ours, like we're in the DC market. Now, what Joe's talking about is one experience. My experience, on the other hand, has not been so bright. It's been actually rather shoddy. It started great. My first time going, it was my first time going. It was the first time I actually hung out with Joe. And it was just me, Joe, and at the time, the president of that chapter. It was great. I had a blast, just the three of us. You know, there was a few other blokes that came in and were watching the match. There was one older English gent.
Yep.
And I think maybe one or two other people that ended up showing up a little bit later. That was a good time. I was okay with that. You know what I mean? And then once it started getting a little bit, when I started going to a little bit bigger ones, I guess you could say bigger turnouts, it didn't feel like family. Nobody knew any fucking chance. There was maybe like one or two. It was very annoying, especially going to a derby, and nobody knew what the fuck was really happening. And then to boot, there were fucking United supporters in there. I'm sorry, bro. Like, being inclusive. No, bro, this is my bar. There's a United bar down the fucking road you can go to. I mean, maybe I'm an asshole, but like all the same, like we pay to be here. You don't. You want to pay to be here? Go somewhere else. I'll be happy. If I was part of an OSC, I'd be happy to welcome any new blue that came in. Anyone. I would not treat them as if they were brand new. I would bring them into the fold. I would welcome them. I'd get to know them, understand their story, and how they even got to this point. You know what I mean? And when I started going on my own, it didn't feel like that at all. It felt like a bunch of people hanging out. And then to add to what you were saying about cliques, every little section of the upstairs of that bar, there was a clique at every table.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was intermingling and socializing. And then there's me, the outsider who travels an hour and a half just to be there, one way. And I'm the one chanting. I'm the one walking around talking to people, faces that I have seen, whether through the group or whatever, and just kind of, shake their hand and, let them know that I'm there, taking videos, putting it here on the podcast. And then, of course, what was the demise for Joe and I, and the very much the out for me, being cast out of the Facebook group of the OSC for posting content in there that is city related. Sorry, I'm not over that. Sorry, I'm not over that. But like, burns. Yeah, dude, like I'm supposed to come there and feel welcome. I'm supposed to come there and feel like this is the one place in this area that I should feel safe being me as a blue. I have not renewed my OSC memberships. I will not. The only way that I feel it's at all worth the money for me is for the ticket potential of getting tickets. But at this point, it's like there's tons of people over there I can get tickets through, or other ways I can find to get tickets. It's really not that hard. I mean, yes, there are loopholes, but at this point, I've found all the loopholes and have broken the gates open. So it doesn't really phase me that way.
I didn't join an OSC this year. I just did this finger. I got this one through. I did the English membership on City's site to kind of like just do it straight through them. So I went that route and got myself my swag, my the sign that's right above me too. This one right here. This and then that guy right there came from them. So I just did it that way instead. I'm gonna go straight through the club instead of doing it this way. So
right.
That's that part right there. Get a bit of power. They want it's the new people who are running. It really, your experience with an OSC really comes down to who's in charge of said OSC.
Yep.
That sets the tone from the get-go of how welcoming or unwelcoming it is. And unfortunately, when past leadership left in the hands of the new folks, the whole dynamic changed, and it starts right from there, in my opinion.
Sorry, I'm going to say something. It might offend somebody, and I really just don't care. They were DEI hires, in my opinion.
One of the two of us put their hat in to step up and help more with said OSC, and got no response whatsoever.
Yeah, somebody who actually really cares about the club and would be engaging with people and would help build the community and not divide it apart and not do anything worth a damn to make people feel included in it, especially ones that consistently are within their social media pages sharing their content or being in there and interacting with other members.
I'll take a Greenville Citizens membership.
As will I, because it's you, and I know that if I were to take that membership, that it would be worth something and not just you're just another person. Because that's really how they make a lot of us. At least that's how they made me feel. I won't say that for everybody. The people that consistently go all the time, that's all great, and more often than not, it's because you live that close. But something Steven said earlier, it's become the hip thing to do because footy is now becoming the hip thing, the hip sport.
It's trendy now for that age group,
right? And
especially in
funny
DC.
enough, yeah, and funny enough, a lot of the people that are typically fans of the sport, in my book, I have for a long time, guys, I did not like the sport because of the way Americans were about it. I thought a lot of them were pussies. I thought a lot of them were idiots that start with an L. You understand what I'm saying? And I wanted no part of it because I was like, if that's who's in it, that means that's the mindset of it, and I don't want to be a part of that. Like, I want to be able to like have a good time and be loud and be proud of my team. And here in America, I don't feel like I can do that. I can't even do that at the grassroots level for my kid without parents getting fucking pissed. It's ridiculous.
Truly.
We'll get into that grassroots bit here in a little while. Let's thank the Tunes for their assist in winning today, pushing us back up into second from fourth. That was a little scary to see because that's not the first time I've seen us go that low. I think I don't remember, but glad. Thank you.
We got
out of that.
Yep, and then had another favorable result in the later game today between Chelsea and Arsenal. They went ahead and drew with one another. So that kept us 4 points ahead of the team. Those same two teams are in third and fourth place, tied on 19. So we're still 4 points above them. Great result for us in that one. And again, we're 5 points behind our Liverpool, 11 in, with 2 matches against them still. In 27? No. How many more do we have? 38 minus 11. 26. 27.
27.
I was right the first time, right? I second-guessed myself. It's been a long day. Man. Right? It's not so simple when you've been driving in the car for fucking 4 hours today over round trip. So much to play for, but great results for us today with the Newcastle taking care of Nottingham. It was wild to see Brighton and Nottingham Forest in the top 4 spots for a short period of time there on the table.
I think Nottingham Forest was probably more so the surprise. Like,
yeah,
Brighton, I could have seen maybe was it last season or the season before? Last season. Math is not math. No. Sunday nights is not for mathing.
It is not. Dude, can we pause that for just a quick second?
You make that a slogan?
No, just math came up. Me and the wife were at the Washington Spirit playoff game today. We're standing in line at the premier entry gate, and the dad behind us is over here like scolding his daughter for not coming to look at a Facebook question. Turns out it's one of those stupid fucking math problems. And he's like going through a whole damn math problem with his like 13-year-old kid while they're standing in line ready to go into a footy match. I'm like, dude, your daughter has no interest in this stupid fucking math problem. It is Sunday afternoon, about to go in for a footy match.
Game.
This is not the time for that, bro. I was like, are you? Me and Steph looked at each other like, she does not care one bit about this. This is not the time to be going through order of operations and PEMDAS and all that shit. Like,
yeah,
dude, chill. Your kid does not want to hear that shit right now. So that was very funny. And since not mathing was a topic, that was a good time to share that little story.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Dude. I could tell by looking at it. Sorry, not sorry.
Oh man!
But we also had some other news. we alluded to a little earlier in the show about our manager. According to Matteo Moretto, who is of Football España, next week or so, Pep and the club are supposed to be having talks over a potential 1-year extension. This was always, I think, the plan that Pep has laid out for us a long time ago, which was November, December, we'll have a sit-down conversation and we'll decide what we're going to do. So we're right in that window from what our honest and true manager has told us before. So to me, if that's, I think it would be, considering everything going on around the club right now, the state that we're in with the negativity from the fan base, string of 4 losses, it would be a great time during this international window for them to hammer out an extension, even if it's just a year, and throw some positive vibes. It might help out the vibes of the club, the boys who might be. That's what gets me, is people are suggesting and bringing up. Yes, see, Steve, thank you. But people suggesting that there's problems behind the scenes in the locker room, and Pep isn't resigning, so the guys are not playing to their full potential because they don't know what's going on with Pep, and blah 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 blah, and speculation. So it would be lovely in the next 2 weeks if they come out with an extension, just to shut up the knobheads.
Anything for a buck, dude. They're as good as common street whores in Vegas. They will literally say anything to make a buck anymore. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, utterly ridiculous. And I saw it posted numerous times from the dummies on social medias, and it's just absurd. So hopefully we'll get a little news here, see what happens, whether it's a +1 extension, +2, whatever it might be. It'd be nice to get some long-term security potentially, but for me, as long as we have Pep, even if it's for a year, I'm good, because that just means we have at least 1 more year with him, and I'm happy with that. So,
we didn't really throw this in here. We've kind of just thrown this off by the wayside until something is said.
Mostly because of that, nothing has been said.
But the more and more nothing is said, the more and more I believe that there is nothing there. Like,
that's exactly, like, if City really did something wrong at this point, you really think the red side would abide by the non-disclosure shit and wouldn't be leaking some kind of information about City's gonna get punished, City did this, City lost this thing? There would be something coming out damning us, especially right now with 4 straight losses. This is a perfect time for them to pile shit on us to make it even worse and try to drum up even more drama. So,
yeah, that's facts. He is this era's Phil Jackson.
100%. Phil had his X's and O's guy on the side in Tex Winners. He was his guy that Tex Winners is the one that drew up the triangle early in them days. He was the one that came up with the idea. Phil gets all the credit for it, but it was really Tex Winners that came up with the triangle in basketball, which is not a new concept to footy fans, because triangles are been around in footy for ages, but starting to implement it in basketball. So Phil gets the credit there. He was the guy, just like Pep, who knew how to manage big personalities in an NBA locker room, be it Dennis Rodman, Scotty, MJ, or Shaq and Kobe, whoever. Phil knew how to manage people and get the best out of folks, and that's great analogy. Great analogy.
Do you guys have like some bad blood with the Middle East? Because that's really, it really is just coming off kind of R word at this point with the whole Middle East thing. That's just my opinion. Like, we keep beating the horse of, well, they're Middle Easterners, blah, blah, blah. Like, money is money. And they bought the club. If they weren't allowed to buy the club, they wouldn't have the club now.
But it's okay for they'll bang on dumb Americans for being fans, but they'll welcome the American money that comes in from the ownerships. I know they don't like the Glazers and all that kind of shit, but damn near half of the Premier League teams are owned by fucking.
Oh, but they've got a problem with that too. They've got a problem with that too. They got a problem that it's fucking Americans and like baseless prejudice is what it is to me. I feel like a lot of the time.
Middle Eastern buying up a lot of and there was a bit of that early on, I guess, when Americans were coming in and purchasing clubs, but because some of the red clubs are owned by them, it's not as big of a deal as it is if somebody with a darker pigmentation on their skin is the one having it. Right. There's the Americans are getting their money very similarly, I guess, to the Brits that own clubs too, but it's different money because it's coming from over there, which is just lunacy.
Yep. There's oil over here too, by the way. There's a lot of it. There's actually a lot more of it. So if we want to go down that road and start fucking calling stupid names based on racial connotations, I mean, we can call us something other than dumb Americans. So we got tons of oil. And a lot of our money is about to come from our fucking ground very, very soon. Let's move it into Bro Talk. Because we're creeping in on the Yellowstone hour, and I am not missing that. For those of you who are in here, Yellowstone is a fantastic modern day drama western. It's about to take a big turn. We're in season 5. If you're not in it or on it, get on it because it's a fucking awesome show. Writer Taylor Sheridan is bar none one of the best executive producers and writers of this generation of TV. Yes, it is may come off as overly conservative, but it actually does a really good job of showing both sides of the fence, especially I believe in season 4, where they go through having dealt with a serial and lifelong activist for global climate change bullshit, and kind of opens the eyes to the average L about that topic, about how what they're trying to do is actually killing the earth just as much as what they believe they're fighting for. So you did get a chance, check it out. It's a great show. I obviously don't have any skin in the game. We just really like the show. I actually just got Joe into it recently. He was a little
all
behind
caught
the
up,
curve, but he's all caught up now and ready to go. So, yeah, Bro Talk. Let's talk about the American soccer model a bit. So over the last couple of weeks, this is, to be fair, my first travel team experience as a parent. What happened that there is a document that parents sign when they put their kids into said travel teams and competitive levels, that basically you are signing your rights away to not talk on the sidelines. I don't believe in it. I don't like it. I don't believe in it. I don't care at what age these kids are if I speak out. There is right and wrong. We talked about this last week, moral absolutes. Last match, and Joe was there, so he saw it firsthand. At the end of the match, my kids' team, they were getting their ass beat, and they should have because of the way they were playing. Plain and simple. They deserve to take the L. I hate to say that if my son is listening, but there were several players on the team that were not playing positionally. They were bunch balling, and it caused a lot of their players to be open, as it would. And they scored quite a few goals on us. Towards the end of the game, one of their players finally gets what he had been given the whole match back, fell to his knees, and thought it was a good idea to start arguing with the ref. So I said, get up, you've been doing it all match, and you can't talk to the ref like that. When his coach decided to chime in, and I'm saying it at this tone. I'm not yelling. I'm not whatever.
No, you did not scream it. You did not yell it. You were very composed, in my opinion.
Right. But it was loud enough that they can hear it. Well, funny enough, my kid's coach didn't hear it, but the other coach did. And I think this coach was just looking to say this specific line. They're 8 years old. You can't talk to them like that. Well, you're obviously not doing anything about it, motherfucker. This is the second time I've seen a team from this particular area that's come onto our pitch and has been disrespectful to the refs. Not only that, parents and coaches. I'm sorry. That behavior, if it's not being tamed, what are you doing as a coach? And who gave you the ability to instruct? Because you're obviously not teaching them any fucking thing if they're going out there and acting like that.
The bigger problem was him not correcting his player
at all,
or speaking to the referee in that manner.
Yeah.
You're already up a big number. What we're not going to do is gripe at the referee for not awarding a penalty when you yourself...
They pulled a player off to even out the play.
So we're not going to be all pissy and moany about a non-penalty call and look at the ref, throw your hands up, and legitimately argue with him. We're not going to do that.
No.
Let's correct that behavior before we start doing other things. So,
but that's just a minute detail of the disdain I have for the game. I recently, and I took my time to read over the rules, and I probably should have talked to Joe about this a little bit earlier, and I believe we talked about it in the last episode, but the build outline. For me, the build outline is nothing more than a way for children or teaching other children to cheat. Because you're basically saying you have to this point to where you can be as free as you want. If they don't notice that they're supposed to be back on that line, it's free game. That's not the game. That's not the game. It's not the game. What are you teaching there? So then you're going to have to turn it back around. Granted, this is at 7v7 level, okay? Just so we're clear. And for what I've talked about with other people over there, and what we've seen in here, pitches are full size over there. They play on pitches from at the 5v5 level of full size. We have these incremental levels. I feel that having those bigger pitches will help with positional play. Like, dude, you got to be over there. This is your spot. You move when everybody else moves. So it's a real simple concept. The build outline does not do anything for me, and I don't think it teaches anything to the kids, especially when you take that said thing away when they move up to the next level. So, Joe, if you could, for my own sanity, and maybe for those watching, what is the purpose of the build outline?
So for the build outline is in 7v7 because they're playing on smaller pitches. There's depending on the pitch you're on, might have a line there. It might just be cones set up on the sidelines that's pretty much, it changes depending on the location. About halfway between midfield or who's reffing. Yes. Halfway between midfield and the top of the goalie box. And any goal kick or anytime the keeper scoops the ball up, picks it up, anytime the keeper has it, either a goal kick or they've picked it up, the opposing team has to get behind the build out line. They have to wait there until the keeper puts the ball in play, either rolling it to a defender, passing it to a defender, whatever it might be. At that point, then they can go into past the build out line and start pressuring the ball. What U.S. soccer is saying this is doing is helping teach how to play from the back. Cool. That's not what's happening across the board in all age groups, boys, girls, that are having to deal with the build line. What it teaches is you put one of your defenders over here, the keeper has the ball, they kick it to the one defender, and 3 of their players just rush from the line straight at the player who has it. And at this age, boys or girls, they're still learning the technical skills needed to even pass the ball to the correct foot, if you will. So when they have 2 or 3 people, or let it settle in time. So by the time that they've settled the ball, they have 2 people, sometimes 3, just barreling down on them. Mm-hmm. So what happens is it turns into a fast break for the other team immediately. It's a strategy at this point for some clubs to just get it into where the keeper is so they can all line up. They line up 4 of their 6 outfield players right on the line, and wherever it's kicked, they just go and chase it and pin it in there, and you get opportunities to turn it over, get a turnover, and pretty much score at will at that point. So the idea is we're going to help them learn how to build from the back, which is a great thought. But when you actually see it in action, it's the complete opposite. Unless you have a skilled center back on the ball and knows how to settle the ball while scanning at the same time, which is tough when you're 7, 8, 9 years old.
And you have 3 or 4 people rushing you?
Yes. Unless you have a center back that can do that and then play a through ball, pass and split through the defenders, you're in tough luck. They all
30
the
minutes.
Kids know. Yeah,
30-minute warm up.
As you get older, they usually bump it to 45 to an hour beforehand, and they do train a couple of days a week, but predominantly, and I'm not sure.
Teaching the game.
It's just run in and score. That's exactly what it's teaching. And then this is also the offside line in the 7v7 game. Yeah, this is the other caveat. Midfield is no longer your offside mark. Players can stand between up until that build out line behind the last defender and still be technically onside. How the fuck does that make sense?
Which is what I was getting at earlier on in my explanation of it. Joe's
it turns into cherry picking.
Right. It's exactly what it is. They just cherry pick the whole time. It's not teaching the game because you have to be able to make the run from the point of contact of the ball in that situation any other time. So why are we allowing these children to basically play the game wrong until they have to play the game right? It makes no sense.
There's 2 ways to beat the build out line when you're the defensive team. One of which is having a center back who's skilled on the ball that can play the split, and that doesn't happen. The other option is to have a keeper who's able to do a javelin throw at the age of 7, 8, or 9 that can run up to the edge of the box and throw it past the build out line. That doesn't usually happen until you get to U10 when their kids are 9 and 10 years old, where they're actually strong enough to do that. Yeah. That's literally the only way to beat that. And honestly, because most teams practice between an hour and a half, 2 times a week, there's so much skill work that needs to be done that there's not a lot of time. And honestly, dealing with this with Jordan, my older daughter's team, just getting enough people to show up for practice to be able to run through like a full scenario like that is tough. And the coaches who are supposed to be teaching the game correctly are not qualified, and they're just worrying about how do we score goals. They're not trying to teach the kids really how to play. They're not really teaching them skills. Mostly. There are some really good ones. And when you get those, you grasp onto them and try to stick with that coach as long as you possibly can. But overall, the level of coaching at the grassroots is not great across the board because there are so many clubs in our area. There are so many clubs. There are so many teams in each age group that they need so many people that they're just taking people whoever can spend a couple of hours. Yeah. And then give them a team
who's really
to be in charge
passionate about the game or wants to teach the game proper. And you can't, and there comes a point where you can't even teach the game proper because there are other rules in place that U.S. Soccer has come up with that are completely bogus.
Steve, exactly. Ball skills and early. That's what it should be about. Small-sided games, learning those kind of things. A little bit of positioning, a little bit of like tactical positioning in game, but primarily they need to be learning how to play on the ball, how to play a proper pass, how to receive a ball, those kind of things. But that's unfortunately not what happens. Oftentimes you run into teams that also just play kickball, and then their parents on the sideline cheer and holler, "Oh, that was amazing! Great kick!" When when they're the biggest kid just sits in the back on defense, and anytime the ball comes through, they just kick it as hard as they can. And it's, "Oh, yay! Great job, Jimmy! Great
Right.
kick!" No, that's not a great kick. That's not a great play. He had plenty of time to settle the ball and make a pass to his teammate.
That one kid on the other side in that game, dude. And he had to be like fucking 10.
That dude was not a second grader.
No. Or
makes the rulings. The rules are all coming from U.S. Soccer.
all of them.
They set them, and then it goes down through the different pyramids of the leagues and everything. So I'm 6'7". Both of my kids are very tall. They had no interest when we tried the basketball route as much because I played my whole life. That was my sport. I tried, and not to toot my own horn, but I was a good dad, and I did not force them into something that they didn't want to do. They, to their credit, they tried it for an 8-week session for like real low level just to learn the game a bit, and they were like, "I think I'd rather just play soccer." And I was like, my dad heart's breaking a smidge because that was dad's sport and you guys don't want it, but I am growing to love the new sport that you're into as much as I used to love my old sport. So let's go do that. I'm in. Let's go. So, and the big thing also with U.S. Soccer that's coming out in 12 days should be announced is going to shake up everything in the landscape of U.S. Soccer too. They're going to be switching from current setup, which is teams are formed by the year that you were born. So my youngest daughter was born in 2015. So everybody playing in her division it has to be 2015 and born in sometime between January and December. That was put in place in 2016, I believe. Now they are going to be going back to the old way that they used to do things before, where it's going to be like August 1st to July 31st. Hey, well done.
Actually, it's going to be June 30th and July 1st are the start dates.
So July 1st to June 30th?
Starts June 1st, goes to June 30th. Or July 1st, June 30th.
Okay, so they're splitting it up into what could be graduation year, something like that, like school year kind of thing.
Exactly.
Here's the thing, Steve. They don't check birth certificates as is.
Ever.
I
have, and I tried to make my coach aware of this, and he's like, "I've been doing this for a while. I know what happens." I said, "Then why don't you do anything about it?"
Because people don't give a shit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which is very frustrating for those who actually follow the rules.
Right. And we're not trying to be fucking like, Reggie the regulator over here, but at the same point in time, the game is not being properly taught to our children. That's what we're paying you for. We obviously couldn't fucking do it ourselves. We would if we could, but how great is that going to turn them into players? Especially two guys that didn't grow up playing. Like, it's extremely frustrating watching this model unfold in front of my eyes. It's extremely frustrating because I know how much my son loves it, and I know it is the same. It's the same way for the girls, and for this to continually happen and go on, and them not try to at least emulate what European ball or English ball is supposed to be. we took a game from somewhere else and tried to bastardize it and make it our own, and I don't like that. I don't like that. That would be like them taking our football and changing the fucking rules. No one would stand for that shit. So why are we doing it?
It hurts the kids actually trying. Steve, that's the biggest gripe for me, because I've seen it happen to both of my daughters in tournaments, in league play, where they're clearly playing either against older children that are playing down against younger children, clearly gaining an advantage, or they're taking, which is a socially accepted apparently across the board, taking players who play for the top level team in a club in the age group, and then taking them and letting them play with the second or third team just so that team can win a tournament.
And bolster their numbers.
And make their club look better. So the kids who are now having to compete against players who should not be in that flight, or they purposefully misflight themselves. They know that they're better than the teams that they're in the grouping with, but they'll put themselves in a lower bracket just so they can win a tournament to get more points to boost their ranking in U.S. soccer. It's just
or perverted glory hunters is what I would call that.
Yes,
instead of an all-star team, I would perverted glory hunters.
So they're and then my kid is now getting sometimes beat kind of bad because your team, one, is fielding players from the best team in their club playing down and playing like more kids than they're supposed to. So now my kid is, and as my kid being the keeper, whenever their goals are going in, she feels personally responsible for that. Good, thankfully, raising her right, she's a goldfish like Sam Obisanya and doesn't let him get to her. But it's just like the girls that I'm coaching now feel shitty about themselves because you guys couldn't follow a simple rule. And that's what really makes me frustrated, is what Steve mentioned there, that the kids who are actually trying, they're putting in the effort, and the adults around the other team are not doing things the right way, which frustrating.
So that's our little rant on U.S. soccer. I'm glad that you guys tuned into our TED Talk.
That's exactly what it was.
What is this last thing you have here? What is that?
What's what?
What's the last thing on the Bro Talk list? What is that?
Did I type that?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
When I slide it to the right, it's got purple and your name next to it.
Liar.
Swear to God.
Where's my little thing at? That tells me the thing with things and the things. There, nope, that's not it. I mean, I'll believe you. I don't know how it did that.
Neither do I. So just go ahead and delete that bad boy, because that's
I just did.
That's nothing.
It's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
She gone.
She gone. Exactly, Steve. Early days is all about the enjoyment of the game, and it makes it very frustrating for the ones whom have enough football IQ to know that they're being duped. My son, his kids included. There's a lot of parents who are very clueless to the game in general because they don't actually pay attention to the game much other than their children. I actually learned that. So, and I'm not trying to call out parents. There were parents there that I was talking to that really do know the game because they grew up playing and stuff, but they just don't currently follow what's going on in this particular sport world, particularly in this league or any league at all. But I feel that having that type of passion as a parent, it imprints on your child, and I feel like the ones that they have that type of IQ, Those are the ones that are going to move on. It's the other ones that sit back and just say, I'm basically paying for a daycare because my child is too rambunctious or I need them to be in an activity to make me feel sane. They're not going to go anywhere. They will be better in the long run, Steven. It's what we do for our kids as far as trying to get them to improve. It goes leaps and bounds of what most parents would do. And some might call us the crazy parents for, putting our kids in specialized trainings or sending them to clinics and this, that, and the other. And we're being too overbearing, but these are all decisions of our children. They are not our decisions. We ask you a question. You either want to do it or you don't. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But we're giving you the option. Do you want to be better or do you want to continue on the path you're on? It's very simple and basic, A topic that we got on to in a couple episodes ago about, these parents over here there's a lot of people over here that are talking about how, putting your kids in multiple sports is good for them and them being, overall athletes and stuff like that. I don't believe in that bullshit. I don't believe it for a fucking second. Because if Lionel Messi didn't fucking spend his every goddamn hour with a ball between his feet, he wouldn't be who he is. If Michael Jordan didn't put a basketball in his hand and a fucking peach basket on a fucking pole, he wouldn't be as good as he is today. Or he was during his prime, excuse me. Same thing with Kobe. Kobe even went through a whole thing about how he said he would get up at 4 a.m., practice for 40 minutes, come home, eat breakfast, practice again for 40 minutes, then do team training, then go to practice, and then practice again 2 more times before he went to bed.
And Colby, was he practicing different sports or is he
No, he was not.
Basketball?
He was sharpening his skills on a specific thing every single time. Whether it was his shot, whether it was his dribbling, whether it was his defending, whether, you know what I mean? It was always something that he was trying to better. So he knew when he went to practice, he had at least 60 minutes more practice than the rest of his teammates.
Not spending 60 extra minutes hitting a baseball. That's not going to help him be a better basketball player.
Exactly. There are certain caveats to that. We explained that in the episode too. Like we were talking about Lynn Swann from back in the 70s for the Steelers. He was a wide receiver. He took ballet because it helped him control his body. He was doing something to benefit the sport he was in, not try to be this all-encompassed athlete. As soon as Steve Black puts up Pussy, I can't not read it.
You gotta. Have to. Just like Pussy, I'm in and now out. Until next time, guys, keep the faith. Catch up. Catch you on the flip side. It is nearly 2 a.m. over there. Molly Dancers
is calling. Yeah, go to bed.
Appreciate you, man. Very, very much.
Appreciate everybody being in here tonight. All of our ex viewers, all of our YouTube viewers. We didn't have any Rumble viewers, not that we usually do, because it decided it wanted to take a poop tonight.
Technical difficulties.
We'll call it that. Sure. Send us home, buddy.
Like we said, thank you for being here. Appreciate you subscribing, keeping up to date with what we got going on. Please continue to do so as we go along. What you can also continue to do, some of you do a great job of it, is sharing our stuff, throwing it up on your story, telling your friends about us. Please continue to do all of those things. Really appreciate that. Helps us grow a little bit, keeps us moving along, and it brings more cool people into our space. And you guys get to know other cool people, and conversations in the chat can happen. So keep the engagements coming. See what I did there? Keep those coming. Please make sure you stay up to date with us. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notifications, share out our pages on your stuff, personal and or if you have your own, social account that you do content.
Every little bit helps.
We appreciate it. So thank you all for being here. Until next time, Colby, what are we going to leave them with?
You know what I'm going to do?
What are you going to do?
Mind the gap, I say. Mind the gap, Man United. Get bigger every time we play. Mind the gap, Man United. Oh, I guess that was it. See you Wednesday.